Huge news for silver. Prepare to reverse course. This is shocking. Economic data just released has gotten Wall Street in a panic, taking risks like we've never seen, and the price of silver is reversing course. I'm going to break this down and show you the pattern you need to look for to stay ahead and not get left behind. This disruption is coming full force. I told you it takes 48 hours, a 48-hour lag for silver to respond to these changes, and now we're watching it play out. Listen closely. I want you to be prepared. This is from Reuters, and the article is headlined, "Investors Reach for Riskier Assets as Fear Seeps Out of Markets." The article starts, U.S. stocks are at fresh records. Bitcoin is soaring and investors are spurning insurance against portfolio declines as evidence that the economy is headed for a so-called soft landing whets market participants' appetite for risk. Call it the Goldilocks trade. It's a perfect phrase. Call it the Goldilocks trade, a bet that the Fed Reserve will be able to tame inflation while keeping growth from declining too rapidly. While that outcome was in doubt as recently as last month, investors have been reassured by a more recent spate of economic data, including Wednesday's report showing U.S. consumer prices slowed more than expected in April. So Wall Street is just going off the charts with their confidence, feeling like we've landed. It's how they're feeling. And they're just making riskier and riskier bets because they're feeling confident. And many, especially those of us in this endeavor of stacking silver, many would warn that they're overconfident for sure. The article continues, investors' newfound renewed penchant for risk-taking can be seen across asset classes. The S&P 500 hit a new record high on Wednesday and is up 11% year-to-date as it rebounds from last month's decline. The NASDAQ Composite Index and Dow Jones Industrial Average scaled fresh heights as well. Assets such as Bitcoin and meme stocks, which are often seen as barometers of risk appetite, though their ties to economic fundamentals are often questions, have also soared. Everyone is taking risks. Everyone is taking risks. Now, what happens in the world of silver and the price of silver is that as the economy shows strength, silver weakens. As Wall Street feels confident and takes more risks, like we're seeing, and jumps in full force, the price of silver weakens. As the dollar shows strength, as treasury yields show strength, the silver weakens. And that's exactly what we're seeing from this data that just came out. This is exactly what's happening. It happens time and again. This is the pattern for silver, and this is exactly what we need to look out for, because we were feeling very excited and optimistic about silver breaking through $30 these past few days. We saw that coming, but now as we watch Wall Street react to the data being released and we see all of the risk-taking come into play, this is how silver reacts. It happens over and over again. You can pull up any silver chart, look at the history of the past 12 months, past 2 years, past 3 years. It happens over and over again. When Wall Street is confident and they're taking risks, silver price starts to drop. And this is the big reversal that we're seeing now. The article continues, meanwhile, participants' growing confidence was reflected in a survey of fund managers by Bank of America's Global Research, the firm's broadest measure of investor sentiment. Based on cash levels, equity allocations and economic growth expectations stood at its most bullish since November 2021, most bullish since 21. Investors' appetite for risk assets appears to be on the rise, and they're jumping in full force. This article says that after worries over the Federal Reserve's ability to cut interest rates in the face of stubborn inflation prompted a 4.2% pullback from the S&P last month, investors now appear eager to ride stocks higher. And the more they jump in, the more confident they are. The stronger we see the economy, any signs of strength in the economy, silver reverses course. It's a strange dichotomy that we have as silver stackers. Of course, we live here in the States, many of us who are listening. We live in the States and we want to have a healthy, strong economy. Of course we want that. But the struggle for us as silver stackers is that when things go bad, we actually, as silver stackers, really, at the end of the day, we benefit because we are swapping our fiat currency. We're pulling it out of this economy as much as we can, and we're putting it into metals. So it could be argued, really, if we're honest with ourselves, it could be argued that we need things to go badly in the economy. It's a dichotomy. There's no other way to explain it. We're really torn as silver snackers. But this data that was just released is really so telling, and it absolutely shows that we're showing strength in our economy. Inflation is getting under control. That this data is looking positive for inflation being pressed down as much as we're trying to press it down, and that shows Wall Street, go ahead, jump in, go for your futures, take risks. Right? That's what they're doing. Silver responds by reversing course.